What do you think? Wouldn't she make an amazing mother? I mean, ask people here in this place. See, now I'm chasing you all around. I'm not going to leave you in peace. Yes. I'll come to you after. Namaskar.
So I'm coming to the
What's your name?
Jennifer Ann?
Jennifer Ann.
Yeah. So words don't affect me, but actions do now. So an incident happened 2 days ago. Look, this happened a couple of times, but an incident happened 2 days ago where there was this man, and I was sitting with another guy sharing a coconut, and he came up to us and started calling me a bitch and then saying how just saying all these words that don't necessarily bother me. But then what happened, long story short, when I was walking away from him, he grabbed my wrist really, really firmly. So I slapped him in the face. And then I started to walk away. And, you know, like, I am such a loving, compassionate person, but why did I still have to slap this guy? Why did the Kali have to come out?
You should have kicked him also. He does not have a right to touch you.
I know, and this happened to me 4 days ago in a temple as well. Like, I wouldn't give 10 rubies, so this guy comes up to me after, grabs my wrist, and then there was a compassionate Jennifer. Oh, you know.
Start screaming.
Yes.
The crowd will come and beat him up. They cannot touch you. No, not allowed. They can say what they want, but they can't touch you. Their freedom ends where your nose begins. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be very tough about that. Also, you have to behave in such a way that they can't even come near enough to touch you.
Right.
That's the other side of it.
Right. Well, I was walking away, and then when I was walking away, because I didn't give any reaction, that's when he did it. I was too, you know.
No, you don't have to be so... You can also shout back.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not compassionate. Compassion is not about being sickly sweet. You know, compassion is actually a face of love. It is the face of the Antaratman, of the Supreme Divine. And the Antaratman's face can be quite fierce if required. Mm-hmm. It's not like this Mother Mary there. Mm-hmm. Mother Mary is only one facet of the soul, you know. And if it's needed to slap, you slap. There's no question, no one can touch you. A man touching you is, unless you want it, is not okay.
Right. Well, yeah.
Not okay, finish, story over, no discussion. Whoever it is, whoever it is. One should be careful about violence, physical violence, but if it's going too far, sometimes one has to defend oneself. You know, I don't think you're going to be like this attacking person who's going to kill people because the impulse said so. You know.
I was like, well, why am I creating this? Why is this energy?
Because you're not coherent.
You know? Yeah.
The more coherent you are, the less someone will try something like that.
Right. Because then what happened yesterday is because I go with the source and I just go where I need to be, and I knew this was going to happen, he showed up again. And this time he showed up with 2 other women, and then they came up to me and said, why did you slap him? And I said, oh, well, he grabbed my wrist. So then they started taking him away from me, and he pulled a knife on me. Just like a, yeah. And I was just like, whoa. So, you know, and then
that's pretty heavy.
So then they took him away, and people like called the cops. But part of me is like, well, you know, like.
You did that? You pulled a knife? Why?
More knife. More need knife for him.
But why? Huh?
Say Mama.
Do you speak, what language do you, what's your mother?
One language.
Which is your mother tongue? You know each other?
No.
So
No.
he's been following you here?
No, this is just how Source brings me. I go with Divine, brings me here. I knew he was going to show up. You know, like everything's always planned. You know, like, and I was like even yesterday, I knew I had to go to the coconut stand.
Go and ask him, offer him something. Ask him if he wants some water.
Because I knew he was going to show up, and I didn't really want to go. But I'm like, okay, fine, I surrender. So I was like, I'll do this, you know. And then when I was here, I'm like, oh wow, he's going to show up, and here he is. So it's like I keep being put in these situations.
When I was driving into the satsang, I saw you walking, and I saw him following you. So he's following you. I haven't. Yes, really. Oh, I haven't seen him. Okay.
Also, before the satsang started, he had come in with another person asking, like, just enter in at 8:30. Speaks in
Okay. Why is he angry like that?
I wasn't under the impression he was angry. I met him on the street. I told him I was coming here. He said, oh, we'll go there too because he comes to this ashram sometimes.
I saw him behind her when I drove in here.
He went to have a shower and I said I was coming in here and then he said he would come later.
Okay.
So,
I think it will be fine. I think there's some anger, some connection which has to be, smoothened out. Let's see what he says. He pulled a knife.
Yeah, yesterday.
Come in here. What's your name?
Sanjay Kumar.
Come sit down and be a little calm now, okay? All right. So it's anyone touching you, that's not okay. One can shout, one can fight with words, that's different. But the moment somebody touches you, you have the right to slap or kick or whatever it is, okay? That goes throughout the entire country like that. Actually anywhere in the world. Because the freedom of the other person ends where your body begins. And that cannot be violated. It cannot be. It's not okay. So it could be that there is something that needs resolution. And maybe a good idea is to take a third party as a mediator and discuss what the problem is and resolve it and close it. If it is happening to you in other places, it is because the system is not coherent. A lot of the times European, American women come to India and they're very floaty because India just makes you floaty. But you can't be floaty in this country. It's not the place to float. The more you float, the more life will slap you in.
too much energy. Floating, can you hear me at the back? I try to throw my voice. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm saying that the more you floaty, the more you will attract anything in life that is going to try to straighten out that floatiness. You know what I mean? So it's important to be more centered, more contoured, more present. Because otherwise this story goes on and on and on and on and on. And today it's him, tomorrow it's somebody else, somebody else, somebody else.
And this is how my past was. I was floating.
Someone pulling a knife like that has anyone ever done that with you? It's not a normal thing that happens in this country. People don't do things like that. So one has to also now, what's your name?
Sanjay Kumar Rajput.
Sanjay Kumar Rathod.
राजपूत ठाकुर
THAK.
ठाकुर
तो आप हिंदी बात करते हो?
मराठी भी बोलता हूँ.
अच्छा. मराठी तुम्ही का मुंबईवरून आहात का?
पुणे.
पुणे.
मेरा ओरिजिनल घर जम्मू में है.
अच्छा.
डुप्लीकेट फैमिली पुणे में है. यहाँ पर मैं 10 साल से रहता हूँ. ये लड़की जिस आदमी के साथ में थी, वो आदमी मेरे को रात को फूल देता है. मैंने उस आदमी को जंगल में पकड़ा था. वो आदमी को और लड़की को योगा सिखाता है गोद में बैठा के. वो प्ले बॉय के जैसा है. उसके साथ में हमेशा नया लड़की दिखाई देता है. तो मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. लेकिन रात को 12 बजे मेरे को फूल क्यों दिया? भाई हिंदुस्तान में फूल तो सिर्फ लड़की को देते, लड़के को नहीं देते.
फूल दिया आपको?
हाँ, फ्लावर फूल.
उस लड़के ने?
हाँ, उसको मैंने जंगल में पकड़ा, मैंने छोड़ दिया. मैं एक बार वार्निंग देता हूँ, छोड़ दिया मैंने. वो लड़की को बचा के लड़की भाग गई. और गोद में रख के योगा सिखा रहा है.
आपने लड़की को बचाया?
बचाया नहीं मैंने, मैं सिर्फ जा रहा था,
अच्छा
वो दिखाई दिए मेरे को, ऐसे करने वो लड़की खड़ी हो गई, भाग गई, ये आदमी ऐसे वो खड़ा हो गया। मैं बोला भाई यहाँ पर बहुत डेंजरस लोग आते हैं, गांजा वाजा पीने वाले लोग आते हैं, दारू पीने वाले, तेरे को कोई मार देगा जान से। रूम नहीं है तुम्हारे पास, रूम में जाओ।
तो आप क्या करते हो इधर भाई?
मैं सामने अड़ोसी ऑर्डर में काम करता था पिछले साल।
अच्छा
हाँ,
तो आप इनके ऊपर आपका क्या ये हुआ था?
मेरे इनके ऊपर कुछ नहीं हुआ था, ये दोनों नारियल पी रहा था,
अच्छा
वो मेरे को सुबह सुबह मिल गया। मैं बोला भाई 10 रुपए दे, चाय पीने की, नहीं दिया, बोलता नहीं है। मैं बोला ठीक है।
आप नाराज हो गए क्योंकि उन्होंने आपको पैसे नहीं दिए?
हाँ, उस दिन में 12 बजे रात को मेरे को फूल दिया उसने, मेरे को बुरा नहीं लगा। वो बोला मेरा लव है, प्यार है, तू बहुत अच्छा आदमी है, तू एक टाइम खाना खाता है, ऐसा वैसा बोल के दिया। मैं बोला ठीक है। मगर मेरे दिमाग में उल्टा घूम गया। मैं बोला सारा हिंदुस्तान में तो लड़की को फूल देते हैं, लड़के को नहीं देते।
लेकिन इनके ऊपर आपने क्यों ऐसा किया फिर?
मैं इनके ऊपर कुछ नहीं किया, मैं थोड़ा सा ऐसा इसको टच किया, थोड़ा इतना खाली ऐसे बोला। इसने डायरेक्ट थप्पड़ मारा, मैं बोला एक और मार दे, नहीं मारा, चली गई। कल मेरे साथ में
इन सब चीजों में
सुनो, देखो
आप सुनो मेरी बात।
हाँ
मैं नहीं सुनूंगी आपकी, आप मेरी बात।
ठीक है, ठीक है, बोलो बोलो।
तो आप इन सब चीजों में क्यों घुसते हो? आप इतने अच्छे हो अंदर से, इतने प्योर हो, तो इन सब लोगों के साथ आपका नाटक क्यों चल रहा है? इधर आइए, आप आगे आइए।
मेरे को सुनाई दे रहा है,
आप आगे आइए।
जरूरत नहीं है, मैं ठीक है ये।
नहीं, आप इधर आइए, मुझे आपका शक्ल देखना है। आइए, चलो उठो। इधर बैठो, दिखाइए आपका शक्ल मुझे। इतना सुंदर हो आप, इतने अंदर से प्योर हो, इन सब चीजों में क्यों घुसते हो आप? इनके साथ उनके साथ बात करना, ये करना वो करना, छोड़ो ये सब। और सत्संग में आके आप 2-3 दिन से बैठे हो, दैट मीन्स आपको कुछ है आपके अंदर जो कुछ जानना भी चाहता है ना। Isn't it true? इतना जो what's the word for it? हिंदी में what do you say for it? Purity.
शुद्धता
शुद्धता है आप में, इसलिए आप इस चीजों में आप में फाइट आते हैं। एक दिन तो डिसाइड करना पड़ता है कि आज से मैं ये सब नहीं करने वाली हूँ। इन सब लोगों के साथ ये तो खराब काम करने वाले लोग हैं, आप क्यों उनमें जाते हो, उनके साथ बात करते? ओके, लेट इट बी। आप सत्संग में आए थे, आप इधर ही बैठे, अगर इधर बैठना है आपको, नहीं तो उधर भी बैठना है। इधर ठंडी है।
मेरे दोस्त आया है,
हाँ,
इसलिए आया है।
बहुत अच्छे हैं आपके दोस्त।
चश्मे वाला है ना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का लड़का। पहले सुबह आया, हम कभी खुला नहीं था, बोला 9 बजे ओपन है, हम एक और दिन आए।
आप आते ही रहे, हम और 3 दिन यहाँ है। ओके, आपको बैठना है, इधर भी बैठ सकते हो, उधर भी बैठ सकते हो, आपको पीछे भी बैठना है। लेकिन ये सब अभी बंद करो, ये सब मारा मारी के लिए इधर उधर चिल्लाना बिल्लाना लोगों के साथ, ये सब क्यों कर रहे हो आप? ये तो जिंदगी का मीनिंग नहीं है आपका, और कुछ है जो आएगा। So about your attracting these things, you have to be careful in this country. It's not a place to just float around and just kind of, you have to bring
मैं
yourself
इसको सेव करना
together.
चाहता था, ये नहीं हुआ।
मुझे समझ में मैं बता रही हूँ, आप मुझे बता रही हैं। So it is important to be very steady and centered and quiet in this country, because otherwise you get into more and more and more trouble. And there is a beauty and simplicity which needs to also but be coherent, you know. I don't think that he was trying to harm you or hurt you. It seems to be more that he was fighting with the other guy, and that something in that process happened and he lost the, all of this mad stuff going on in Tiru. People supposedly teaching yoga, supposedly doing massage. God knows what yoga they are teaching and which body parts they are out there to massage. It is better to keep a little sanity for when you are here and not float around like that. You're dressed decently, that's always helpful if one doesn't show too much skin. But now it's about being more centered, more coherent, more aware. Who is this person I'm talking to? What is the actual vibration there? You know, you're going with soul, but you have to ask each time, is this the right step for me to do? You know what I mean? And from that, each time, you take the action, because it could be the ego and you think it's the soul, but actually it's not the soul, it's the ego. You have to discern, you have to ask, is this the soul? Is this coming from my soul? Is this an impulse of truth or is it the ego? You know, because he is actually quite a sweet guy, I feel.
I know.
He's not going to attack anybody like this.
And that's how I felt, you know.
Yes,
But then when he brought it again, that's when when I saw it yesterday. That's when I'm, you know, like, cause I usually don't feel anxious anymore, but only now when I'm around him, you know.
No, he won't do anything.
Yeah.
He's very okay. He's a sweet man. But there's no need for you both to now talk to each other. That's not the point. The point is there's a learning process for him and there's a learning process for you. He has to learn what I told him, meaning not to just get involved in all this local politics, local this, local. And you have to be careful how you behave. You have to be contoured as a female here in India. Otherwise you'll get slapped around. The light even went off. Wherever there are spiritual communities, there's wildness around because consciousnesses are expanding, people are spacing out. But we in this Sangha do not space out. We do not space out. We space in. We are present. We are strong. We are here and now. You know? We have to be alert. Sometimes somebody walks in, but generally we want to be loving to everybody. We want to love, you know. Even if somebody behaves a little strange, okay. But if they come and transgress, we have to be very tough. To the point of whatever is needed. So now your next step is to become more quiet and actually discern, is that impulse coming from the soul or is it coming from the ego? आपको पानी चाहिए? Sure. And gradually you strengthen up and you become present. You are quite present, you're not a spaced out type. That's good, but you have to be really present, especially if you're here in a place like this.
I feel like that was more my past, where I wasn't present. I felt really present in the situation. You know, like in the past I was floaty, but I was saying before, but now.
You're hanging around with strange man and doing.
But I wasn't hanging out with a strange man. He was a very nice man. I don't hang out with strange men anymore. It was just this incident where he even told me that he was drinking. So he was intoxicated, you know.
Who was intoxicated? Ah.
So this is it, you know.
Dina भी कब तक करोगे? कब तक करोगे बताओ? कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला आपको, कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला। आपका जो भी पोटेंशियल जो है ना, करना है तो करो, ऐसा कोई बात नहीं। I love drunkards also, not that. But you will not have anything from it. बस जो भी है ना, आपका जो भी दो पैसा है वो भी सब चले जाएगा, आपका माला भी चलेगा। Even that mala that you are wearing will go. Doesn't matter. I don't mind. You can come here even without any nanga, you can sit. That's not the point.
So that's why I was just wanting to give love, you know? That's all I wanted to do.
But you got somebody touching you when they shouldn't have.
Yeah. Because I didn't give the reaction possibly he wanted.
No, the thing is you have to be much more alert 10 minutes before. The alertness has to be
Well, I
much
feel,
stronger.
and I felt it, but I didn't go, you know?
Yeah,
I
then
mean,
you have to go.
Yeah.
And you have to go, you have
but
to
I just
go.
take off running, you know? Like, it's so weird. But
You
yeah.
have to do that. If the impulse is to take off, then you have to take off.
Yeah.
What's with the lights?
Back in 20 minutes.
They said.
Yeah.
So I have to shout for 20 minutes. But it's good. It would have been way too loud had the electricity been on. My shouting at him would have been very loud.
Yes. All I want is peace, you know? I just want peace.
Yeah, who doesn't want
You know,
peace?
that's
But
all.
peace is not the issue. Peace is not the issue. It's about making a life of joy.
But I'm saying between him and I, you know, like I want to.
He's fine. You still angry?
Can you look at me? Can you look at me?
No, he doesn't. You cannot ask him to do
जैसे
that in the
लड़की लोग
satsang.
बहुत है ये एक भी
हाँ?
बहुत है यहाँ
Yeah.
यहाँ पर blonde hair which is not a बहुत रंडी है यहाँ पर
ऐसे
हमको
क्यों?
कोई टेंशन नहीं है
लेकिन आप इनको ऐसे रंडी क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
है तो क्या बोले
लेकिन नहीं है
सब
ये लोग
नहीं है
ऐसे.
सब नहीं है सबको नहीं बोलता हूँ मैं जो उस आदमी के साथ में दिख जाएगी वो गलती और तुमको और देखना होगा और दिखाना और बहुत गलती है उसके पास
लेकिन आपका क्या? आप तो क्या इधर क्या गांधी जी बन के आए?
मैं तो सोचता हूँ पूरा दुनिया का गांधी जी हूँ
हाँ, लेकिन आप तो पीने वाले गांधी जी हो. गांधी जी थोड़ी पी रहे
चाय
थे.
पीने को पैसा नहीं रहता है तुम पीने की बात करते हो।
चाय पीने के लिए पैसा क्यों नहीं है? क्यों नहीं है? नहीं बताइए, नहीं बताइए, नहीं. आपके पास चाय पीने के लिए पैसे क्यों नहीं है?
हम काम नहीं करते इसलिए
हाँ, क्योंकि आप गांधीगिरी कर रहे हो इधर.
गांधी जी कुछ नहीं कर रहे गांजा पी रहा हूँ बैठा हुआ आराम से
तो फिर पी के बैठो ना आराम से गांजा. दूसरों को क्यों सता रहे हो? इनके साथ क्यों बात कर रही है? ऐसी है वे वैसी है. अंडरस्टूड.
ये
अब
होली
साधु
प्लेस
हो ना,
है,
साधु हो
हनीमून
तो
प्लेस
साधु जैसे बैठो.
है। ये होली प्लेस है ये होली हनीमून प्लेस है
You take care of yourself. You don't have money to have chai.
राइट
If you want to smoke ganja, sit quietly in a corner. You do that. That is not something which I can say yes or no.
इसके बाद मेरा पूरा कपड़ा जला दिया पुलिस ने जहाँ मैं बैठा था
देखो, आप तो बहुत वाइल्ड कैरेक्टर हो ना. हाँ, थोड़ा काम करो ये violence. So he is concerned about the morality of Tiruvannamalai and how the women, Western women, are behaving over here, and hanging out with men. So he's a little bit. I told him that he doesn't have to be the Gandhi of Tiruvannamalai. If he wants to smoke and sit quietly, that's okay. But he cannot go and start taking arms against this because he doesn't have money to have even a cup of tea. That's the problem.
आपको पीने की बात है पिए की बात मैं पीता नहीं मेरे को नशा ही नहीं
अभी तो ये डिस्कशन मेरे को बहुत बोरिंग हो गया.
लाइफ नहीं
वो लाइट चली जाएगी ना अगर तुम लोग ऐसे काम कर रहे हो इधर सब.
सही बात हमने बैठा दिया ऐसे आदमी को यहाँ पर ये लाइट ही चली हम दोनों आदमी खराब आत्मा है हमारे दोनों
नहीं.
सही बात है
मैया के वहाँ तो सब
क्योंकि
लोग.
मैं
There are no haramis here. In my satsang, everyone I love. Drunkards, prostitutes, eunuchs, smokers, dopers, drug addicts. Everybody is welcome here. Okay? That's it. Everybody. But everybody, not just 1 or 2 types. All. And I love them more than I love anybody else.
you have good soul right?
I don't know about that, but I said what I have to say, and now we're going to change the topic. We're going to see if somebody else has a question. Okay? Okay. Yes, John, please come. No, it's not.
Make it happen.
I just want to quickly address. You can say. I just want to quickly address the situation that happened with. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Yeah. So मनोज ना आपका नाम? मेरे भाई का नाम। आपका नाम क्या है? Sanjay. I think what he was saying was that what is disturbing him, and I thought because it was all in Hindi, quite better. He said what is disturbing him is that there is this looseness amongst a lot of women that come here, and that it's polluting or disturbing the atmosphere of Tiruvannamalai. And he says that Tiruvannamalai is not a honeymoon location, that it's a place where people come to actually find themselves, and that it's not a place for people to, have these loose sexual behavior, in other words. And that is what he caught that guy that was with you doing with other women, and it angers him. I told him that he's not the Gandhi of Tiruvannamalai, that he's not the protector of the morals, and he said that he will not, be indulging in these aggressive practices anymore. But I also do want to say that there is a general feeling more and more that it's becoming a sort of a Goa here, you know what I mean? And so the locals are complaining more and more about it. So it's better, as much as possible as a female, to keep out of the way of those characters that are, sort of preying on women, and not allow that to happen. Even though I feel everyone has to find their way, and figure it out. But finally, a knife was drawn, and I think that is not okay, So I would suggest to just be very quiet now and keep away from all those characters, if possible. Because they see them, and he represents many men over here, they just see them as prostitutes, basically. And they just don't want that to happen here. I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but it's just the perception. And one has to take into account the local perception as well when one is in a place. Otherwise one attracts aggression. You know what I mean? So, yes. I just wanted to say that to kind of, because there's a lot of anger, and I'm not blaming anybody here, but I'm saying it's the onus is on the one who is not from here to behave more, not to even deal with people who attract that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Not really?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. This is my work, is I'm healing the priestess lineage, So this is why I'm so confused why to check.
Let's take that up again after her question, yeah? What you mean by healing the priestess lineage, okay? Yes.
The last 4 months I was in Bali collaborating with 12 different sisters from different lineages, and we were doing lots of healings in sacred places for the women around the world. So I was saying that what's coming at the end of the month is the final healings of all the women in the world. What I've been guided to do is work with men and start healing the men and opening their hearts just by being in presence with men. And so I guess, I don't know, that this is just what I've been guided to do. So I know that he was speaking about women being freely open and just sleeping with everybody, and not honoring their temple and their self. Yeah, that's more of the past, But now, like, women are coming and are stepping into their power and honoring themselves,
But we are speaking now about a specific incident that happened here, where his feeling is that you are one of those women who's hanging out with that guy who has been known to prey on women. That's what he's known for locally. So that is what his issue is. Whether he was drunk or not, that is what his issue is. Right. That you are one of those, and that is not what him or the locals feel is okay. Whatever means and methods you would use for your processes, to open up the hearts of men, for example, it has to always be in tune with the local acceptance of such processes. When you're in a culture where certain things are considered unacceptable behavior, and then if you are seen doing such things or being with people who do such things, then you would attract a lot of negativity. Unnecessary negativity, because your actual processes are processes of opening up the hearts of men. And opening up a heart of somebody would not actually invite violence, would it? As a priestess that is opening up the hearts of men.
Yes.
That means basically the connect to the love, to the source of love is opened up. And that process generally should not and does not attract violence. So my question is, what have you done? You have to look at your actions. As you said, it's the actions that count. And what is the action that has been undertaken from your side that could have invited this? It is not condoned, of course. You are in the land of Kama Sutra, you're in the land of Anangaranga, you're in the land of Chakra Pujas, So it's not that people here are, but it's just about when, how, where, and under what circumstances anything happens or takes place. What are the ages under which an action happens? It has to be understood locally, otherwise it will not be accepted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
So why did this happen? Or what do you feel is actually the reason
I feel
that you attracted violence?
I feel it was that that I just didn't listen to my intuition. I didn't go. I didn't run. I continued to try to work it together.
Exactly.
Try to help the
Exactly.
situation. Or I should have just left the situation. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but then when I got the ant bite or whatever, I should have just went.
So why were you not listening to the intuition? Why did you not follow the command of the soul?
I don't know. I only do it like 1% of the time. Why?
What happened? What came in the way?
The ego must have been
Yes.
there. So
Why did ego come in the way? I'm not cross-questioning. It's more a way of leading you to what you already know, actually.
Okay. I just know now in the future. Go.
So the high priestess is the one that tends the altars, the altar of the truth. She's the one who tends to the altar of the truth. That's her work. And her work is to be an embodiment and an instrument of the truth. If she's training in the priestess tradition, or if she's tuning in to the high priestess tradition, life will ruthlessly extract from her if she doesn't stay in that line. You have to choose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So that means you have to be very present. You cannot just be floaty around and kind of give in and be compassionate and all of that stuff. There is no place for compassion of ego. It's truth compassion that has to be at play. And whatever actions you undertake to heal whichever men, and whatever actions are necessary to be undertaken from whatever level of perception, whether it's physical, emotional, conceptual, wherever that action comes from, its origin is the truth, not ideas we have in our head. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you're going to move from now on, and it will all be all right then.
I know, but just running away really fast is just, it's just,
The truth says run, you run. Otherwise, you're not a priestess.
yeah.
If you want to actually hold that tradition, the priestess is fearless. She's fearless. She gets up and runs if she has to run. That is fearlessness. Else she's not a priestess. Else you're tuning in into a tradition and not living up to its demands. Then it's better to retract and just be a normal chick,
I can't.
which you can't. So now your choice is nothing or this thing. And you have that potential of a really powerful priestess, no question. That's why maybe you're sitting here, because, you know what I mean, you have to. Tough is tough. Many times it happens here, people come, do strange things. If for 1 second I'm not sure, do you know what mayhem can happen here? They can do any kind of thing, these guys. They're that strong, some of them, they're so possessed, it'll take 7 men to hold one guy down. They don't dare to do anything. Why? Because it's centered, it's truth, it's love. They feel the love. And the high priestess, she tends the altar of love. That's her job, isn't it? That's why she's called the high priestess and not an angel or the Supreme Mother. She has a specific function to connect men with their souls, for example. That's her function. But then she has to be connected at all times. It's all fine. Yes, all the time. It's all fine. This is life showing you what you have to do now. If we don't do it, life shows us. That's what it is. It's all good. You're on a good track, but be centered and keep yourself protected, The high priestess doesn't run around on the road with her hair flying all over the place. She's very quiet. She keeps herself contained, and she does not distribute energy where it's not required.
I feel like I don't do that. It was just because I didn't listen to the run. That's it. So, okay, I'll listen now.
Yeah, and keep more. And it's always advisable for a high priestess to have a couple of strong men around.